Welcome to Wisdom Audiobooks. Have you ever wondered why sometimes, no matter how hard you try, things just don't seem to work out? Or have you ever felt that by holding on too tightly to your goals, you're actually pushing them further away? But what if I told you that letting go is not a sign of weakness, but a powerful act of trust in the universe and in yourself? This audiobook explores the profound truth behind surrender, a concept that may seem counterintuitive at first but holds the key to unlocking peace, success, and fulfillment. Introduction. The audiobook The Magic of Surrender: Why Everything Comes to You When You Give Go is written and published by Wisdom Audiobooks. As Lao Tzu once said, "By letting go, it all gets done. The world is won by those who let it go." Today, we embark on a journey to discover how surrendering can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Life today moves at an incredible pace. Many of us are juggling multiple roles, careers, relationships, personal growth, and often find ourselves overwhelmed by the pressure to succeed. Entrepreneurs struggle with burnout, young adults feel lost in their search for purpose, and parents wrestle with the demands of balancing family and self-care. We all want the same things: happiness, peace, success, and love. Yet, despite our best efforts, these things often seem out of reach. Why? Because we've been conditioned to believe that control equals power. We think that if we just try harder, push further, or hold on tighter, we'll eventually get what we desire. But this approach often leads to frustration, exhaustion, and disappointment. I understand how you feel. I've been there too, stuck in this cycle of striving and struggling, wondering why my efforts weren't yielding results. It's exhausting to constantly fight against the current of life, isn't it? But here's the truth: you're not alone. Millions of people around the world are facing similar challenges. And the good news is, there's another way, a way that doesn't require you to exhaust yourself or lose hope. In this audiobook, we'll delve deep into the art and science of surrender. You'll learn what surrender truly means, and what it doesn't. How embracing surrender can help you overcome stress, anxiety, and fear. Practical steps to apply this philosophy in your daily life. Inspiring stories of real people who transformed their lives through surrender. By the end of this journey, you'll walk away with actionable insights and tools to create a life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Trust me, this isn't just another self-help audiobook. It's a roadmap to rediscovering your inner strength and aligning with the natural flow of life. So, take a deep breath. Let go of any resistance you might be feeling right now, and allow yourself to be open to the wisdom that lies ahead. Your wisdom journey starts here. Chapter 1: Understanding Surrender: What It Really Means. Surrender. The word itself can evoke mixed emotions. For some, it might bring up images of defeat or giving up. For others, it might feel like a foreign concept, one that seems too abstract or impractical in our fast-paced, control-driven world. But what if surrender is not about weakness or failure? What if it's a profound act of strength, a way to reclaim your power and align with the natural rhythms of life? In this chapter, we'll explore the true essence of surrender. We'll debunk common misconceptions, uncover its deeper meaning, and set the foundation for understanding why letting go can be one of the most transformative actions you ever take. As Rumi, the great Persian poet, once said, "Your task is not to seek love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it." Similarly, surrender is about removing the barriers we've created, barriers that block us from experiencing peace, joy, and fulfillment. Let's begin by examining what surrender is not, so we can fully embrace what it truly is. What surrender is not. 1. Surrender is not weakness. One of the biggest misconceptions about surrender is that it equates to weakness or giving up. In reality, surrender requires immense inner strength. Think about professional athletes. They don't give up on their goals, but they understand when to let go of tension and allow their bodies and minds to rest. They know that true power lies in adaptability, not in rigid control. As Nelson Mandela wisely said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." Surrender is not about quitting, it's about preparing for a new beginning. It's about creating space for miracles to happen. When you let go, you're not losing, you're making room for something greater to unfold. 2. Surrender is not losing control completely. Another misconception is that surrender means losing all control over your life. This couldn't be further from the truth. Surrender is not about passivity or abandoning responsibility. Instead, it's an active decision to focus your energy on what truly matters. Imagine you're rowing a boat in a river. If you fight against the current, you'll exhaust yourself. But if you learn to navigate with the flow of the water, you'll travel much farther with less effort. That's the essence of surrender, not resisting blindly, but working with the natural flow of life. 3. Surrender is not passive acceptance. Some people believe that surrender means accepting everything as it is, even injustice or negativity. But surrender is not resignation. It's a conscious choice to release unnecessary burdens so you can focus on creative solutions and build a better future. As Louise Hay, author of You Can Heal Your Life, beautifully stated, "Every thought we think is creating our future." When you surrender negative thoughts, you open the door to positivity and transformation. It's not about giving in, it's about rising above. What surrender truly is. Now that we've clarified what surrender is not, let's explore its true meaning. Surrender is not just a philosophical concept, it's a way of living that brings balance, peace, and prosperity into your life. 1. A conscious act of trust. Surrender begins with trust. Trust in yourself, trust in the universe, and trust in the process of life. When you surrender, you're placing faith in the idea that things will work out for the best, even if you can't see the full picture yet. This isn't easy, especially during challenging times, but it's a powerful mindset shift. Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now, reminds us, "Accept, then act." Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it. Acceptance doesn't mean complacency. It means freeing yourself from resistance so you can take inspired action. 2. An invitation to flow with life. Life is like a river, always moving and changing. When you try to control everything, you're swimming against the current. But when you surrender, you allow yourself to flow with life. This doesn't make you passive. Instead, it empowers you to act from a place of calm and clarity. Consider the story of Steve Jobs. In his famous 2005 Stanford commencement speech, he shared how being fired from Apple, a moment he initially saw as a failure, led him to rediscover his passion and ultimately achieve extraordinary success. He said, "Sometimes life hits you in the head with a brick. Don't lose faith." Surrender teaches us that every challenge carries a hidden opportunity for growth. 3. A path to inner peace and clarity. Surrender is also about finding peace within yourself. When you release expectations, fears, and self-imposed pressures, you create space for inner stillness and clarity. This is crucial in today's fast-paced world, where stress and anxiety often feel unavoidable. Picture your mind as a lake. When you constantly stir it with negative thoughts or worries, the water becomes murky, and you can't see beneath the surface. But when you stop and let things settle, the water becomes clear, reflecting light and beauty. That's what happens when you surrender. You allow your mind to become calm and clear. Deepak Chopra, a renowned expert on spirituality and wellness, once said, "In the midst of movement and chaos, keep stillness inside of you." Inner stillness is the greatest gift surrender offers. It helps you see problems from a fresh perspective and find effective solutions. Why surrender matters. Now that we understand the essence of surrender, let's explore why it's so important in our lives. This isn't just a philosophy, it's a tool that can transform how you experience the world. 1. Liberation from stress and anxiety. One of the greatest benefits of surrender is its ability to free you from the weight of stress and anxiety. When you try to control everything, you take on an overwhelming burden. You feel like everything depends on you, and if you fail, everything will collapse. But the truth is, not everything is within your control. Recognizing this is the first step toward breaking free from the cycle of stress. Buddha wisely taught, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." When you let go of the need to control, you find peace within yourself. This not only improves your mental health but also positively impacts your physical well-being. 2. opening doors to new opportunities. When you surrender, you not only free yourself from burdens but also open doors to new opportunities. Sometimes the best things in life come to us when we stop trying to force them to happen. The universe has its own way of bringing wonderful things into our lives, but the prerequisite is that we must be ready to receive them. Take the story of J.K. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series. Before becoming one of the richest authors in the world, she went through a period of immense hardship, divorce, unemployment, and living on welfare. In interviews, she shared that accepting her circumstances and trusting her creativity helped her overcome that dark phase. She said, "Rock bottom became the solid foundation on which I rebuilt my life." 3. Strengthening relationships. Surrender also plays a vital role in improving personal and professional relationships. When you stop trying to control others or expect them to behave a certain way, you create space for genuine understanding and connection. This is especially important in family and romantic relationships, where pressure and expectations often lead to conflict. Brené Brown, an expert on courage and vulnerability, once said, "Vulnerability is the birthplace of love, belonging, joy, courage, empathy, and creativity." When you surrender the need to control and embrace vulnerability, you open the door to deeper, more meaningful relationships. Conclusion of Chapter 1. In this chapter, we've explored the core aspects of surrender, from understanding that it's not weakness or loss of control, to recognizing its vital role in bringing peace, opportunities, and stronger relationships. Surrender is not a one-time act. It's an art of living that requires patience, practice, and faith. As Mahatma Gandhi famously said, "The future depends on what you do today." Your actions today, starting with learning to surrender, will shape your tomorrow. Remember, surrender is not about giving up. It's about trusting yourself and the universe. It's the path to true freedom. In the next chapters, we'll dive deeper into the science and spirituality behind surrender, as well as practical steps to apply this philosophy in your daily life. But for now, take a moment to reflect on what you've learned in this chapter. Are you ready to move forward? Chapter 2: The Science and Spirituality Behind Surrender. Surrender is not just a philosophical concept, it's deeply rooted in both science and spirituality. Modern neuroscience reveals how letting go can rewire your brain for peace and resilience, while ancient spiritual teachings emphasize the transformative power of trust and alignment with the universe. In this chapter, we'll explore the fascinating intersection of these two realms. By understanding the scientific mechanisms behind surrender, you'll gain practical tools to manage stress, improve decision-making, and enhance your overall well-being. Simultaneously, delving into its spiritual dimensions will help you connect with a deeper sense of purpose and meaning. Together, these perspectives provide a holistic framework for embracing surrender as a way of life. Let's begin by examining the neuroscience of letting go. The neuroscience of letting go. 1. How stress impacts the brain. Stress is an inevitable part of life, but when it becomes chronic, it can wreak havoc on your brain and body. The human brain has evolved to respond to threats through the fight or flight mechanism, which activates the amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for processing emotions like fear and anger. When you're under constant stress, the amygdala remains hyperactive, flooding your system with cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, this chronic activation can impair the prefrontal cortex, the area of the brain responsible for rational thinking, decision-making, and self-control. As a result, you may find yourself stuck in cycles of overthinking, anxiety, or even burnout. But here's the good news: surrender can reverse this process. When you consciously choose to let go of stress and resistance, you activate the parasympathetic nervous system, which promotes relaxation and restoration. This shift not only calms your mind but also allows your brain to function more effectively. 2. The role of neuroplasticity in surrender. One of the most exciting discoveries in neuroscience is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself based on experiences and behaviors. Every time you practice surrender, you're essentially training your brain to respond differently to challenges. Instead of defaulting to stress and resistance, your brain learns to prioritize calmness and clarity. For example, mindfulness practices, a key component of surrender, have been shown to increase gray matter density in areas of the brain associated with emotional regulation and self-awareness. A study published in Psychiatry Research found that participants who practiced mindfulness meditation for just 8 weeks experienced significant changes in brain structure, including increased activity in the hippocampus, responsible for memory and learning, and decreased activity in the amygdala. As John Kabat-Zinn, founder of Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, MBSR, explains, "You can't stop the waves, but you can learn to surf." Surrender is about riding the waves of life with grace and resilience, rather than being overwhelmed by them. 3. The power of letting go to rewire your brain. When you surrender, you're not just releasing external burdens, you're also creating space for positive neural pathways to form. For instance, practicing gratitude, a natural byproduct of surrender, has been linked to increased production of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. This not only boosts your mood but also motivates you to take inspired action toward your goals. Consider the story of Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor, a neuroscientist who experienced a massive stroke at the age of 37. In her book My Stroke of Insight, she describes how the stroke forced her to let go of her ego-driven left brain dominance and embrace the peaceful, intuitive nature of her right brain. Through this process of surrender, she was able to rebuild her life and inspire millions with her message of hope and transformation. Her journey reminds us that surrender is not just a mental or emotional act, it's a biological one. By letting go, you allow your brain to heal, adapt, and thrive. The spiritual perspective. While science provides a logical framework for understanding surrender, spirituality offers a deeper, more profound connection to its essence. Across cultures and traditions, surrender has been celebrated as a path to enlightenment, inner peace, and divine alignment. 1. The law of attraction and surrender. One of the most popular spiritual concepts related to surrender is the law of attraction, the idea that your thoughts and energies shape your reality. However, many people misunderstand this principle. They believe that simply visualizing their desires will bring them into existence. But true manifestation requires surrender. When you cling tightly to an outcome, you create resistance. You're essentially telling the universe, "I don't trust you to deliver what I need." On the other hand, when you surrender, you signal openness and receptivity. You allow the universe to work its magic without interference. Napoleon Hill, author of Think and Grow Rich, famously said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." But he also emphasized the importance of faith and detachment in the process. He wrote, "Do not wait for the perfect moment, take the moment and make it perfect." This encapsulates the spirit of surrender, trusting that the universe will guide you to the right opportunities at the right time. 2. Trusting the universe. Lessons from ancient wisdom. Throughout history, spiritual traditions have taught the value of surrender as a means of connecting with something greater than ourselves. In Hinduism, the concept of Ishvara Pranadhana, surrender to a higher power, is considered one of the key principles of yoga. It encourages practitioners to let go of ego and attachment, trusting that divine intelligence will lead them on the right path. Similarly, in Christianity, surrender is often described as yielding to God's will. Jesus himself modeled this principle when he prayed in the Garden of Gethsemane. "Not my will, but yours be done." Far from being passive, this act of surrender demonstrated immense courage and faith. In Islam, the word Islam itself means submission or surrender to Allah. Muslims believe that true peace comes from aligning their lives with divine guidance, rather than trying to control every detail. These teachings remind us that surrender is not about giving up our dreams, it's about entrusting them to a higher power. When you release your grip, you create space for miracles to unfold. 3. The paradox of control and freedom. One of the most profound insights in spirituality is the paradox of control and freedom. The more you try to control your life, the less freedom you experience. Conversely, the more you surrender, the more freedom you gain. This idea is beautifully expressed in Taoism, particularly in the teachings of Lao Tzu. He wrote, "When nothing is done, nothing is left undone." This doesn't mean doing nothing, it means acting in harmony with the natural flow of life. When you stop resisting and start flowing, you tap into a limitless source of creativity and abundance. Consider the story of Eckhart Tolle, author of The Power of Now. Before his spiritual awakening, Tolle was consumed by anxiety and despair. One night, overwhelmed by existential dread, he reached a breaking point. Instead of fighting his emotions, he surrendered completely, saying, "I cannot live with myself any longer." In that moment of total surrender, he realized that the self he couldn't live with didn't exist, it was just a construct of his mind. This epiphany transformed his life and led him to become one of the world's most influential spiritual teachers. His story illustrates that surrender is not a passive act, it's a radical shift in consciousness. It's about letting go of the ego's need to control and embracing the infinite possibilities of the present moment. Bridging science and spirituality, practical insights for everyday life. While science and spirituality may seem like separate realms, they converge beautifully in the practice of surrender. By integrating insights from both perspectives, you can create a practical framework for applying surrender in your daily life. Let's explore how this synthesis works and how you can use it to transform your experience of the world. 1. The role of mindfulness in bridging both worlds. Mindfulness is one of the most powerful tools for bridging the gap between science and spirituality. Rooted in ancient meditation practices, mindfulness has gained widespread recognition in modern psychology for its ability to reduce stress, improve focus, and enhance emotional regulation. At its core, mindfulness is about being fully present in the moment, a state that naturally aligns with the principles of surrender. When you practice mindfulness, you train your brain to observe thoughts and emotions without judgment or attachment. This creates a sense of detachment, allowing you to let go of unnecessary worries and fears. Simultaneously, mindfulness connects you to the spiritual dimension of surrender by fostering a deeper awareness of the interconnectedness of all things. As Thich Nhat Hanh, the renowned Zen master, once said, "The present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you are attentive, you will see it." Surrender, through the lens of mindfulness, is about embracing the present moment fully, without resistance or distraction. It's a way of saying yes to life as it unfolds, rather than clinging to how you think it should be. 2. Cultivating gratitude as a bridge between worlds. Gratitude is another powerful bridge between science and spirituality. From a scientific perspective, gratitude has been shown to boost mental health, strengthen relationships, and even improve physical well-being. A study published in Applied Psychology, Health and Well-being found that participants who kept a daily gratitude journal reported higher levels of happiness and lower levels of depression. From a spiritual standpoint, gratitude is an act of surrender. When you express gratitude, you're acknowledging that you've received something greater than what you could have achieved on your own. This shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, opening your heart to receive even more blessings. Consider the story of Oprah Winfrey, who attributes much of her success to the practice of gratitude. She once shared, "Be thankful for what you have, you'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough." Her words remind us that gratitude is not just a feeling, it's a mindset that transforms how we perceive and interact with the world. By cultivating gratitude, you align yourself with both the scientific benefits of positive thinking and the spiritual principle of trust in the universe. 3. The power of intentional action. Surrender doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to happen. Instead, it involves taking intentional action while remaining open to guidance from the universe. This balance between effort and ease is often referred to as flow in both scientific and spiritual contexts. In neuroscience, flow is described as a state of optimal performance where you feel completely absorbed in an activity. Time seems to disappear, and you operate from a place of effortless creativity. Similarly, in spirituality, flow is seen as alignment with divine will, a state where your actions are guided by intuition rather than ego. To achieve this state, start by setting clear intentions for what you want to create in your life. Then, take inspired action while remaining open to unexpected opportunities. For example, if you're searching for a new job, update your resume and network with professionals in your field, but also trust that the right opportunity will come at the perfect time. As Wayne Dyer, author of The Power of Intention, wisely stated, "You don't attract what you want, you attract what you are." When you surrender to the process of becoming the best version of yourself, you naturally attract the people, resources, and circumstances that align with your highest good. Real-life stories of surrender, bridging theory and practice. To bring these concepts to life, let's explore two inspiring stories of individuals who transformed their lives through surrender. These examples demonstrate how the principles we've discussed can be applied in real-world situations. Story 1. Cheryl Strayed's Journey of Self-Discovery. Cheryl Strayed, author of the memoir Wild, embarked on a solo hike along the Pacific Crest Trail after experiencing a series of devastating losses: the death of her mother, the end of her marriage, and years of destructive behavior. With no prior hiking experience, she set out on a 1,100-mile journey, carrying far too much weight in her backpack and grappling with deep emotional pain. At first, Cheryl struggled to control every aspect of her trip, micromanaging her supplies and obsessing over potential dangers. But as the days turned into weeks, she began to let go, not just of the physical burdens in her pack but also of the emotional baggage weighing her down. She surrendered to the unpredictability of the trail, trusting that she would find strength and clarity along the way. By the end of her journey, Cheryl had not only completed the hike but also rediscovered her sense of purpose and resilience. Her story illustrates the transformative power of surrender in overcoming adversity and finding meaning in chaos. Story 2. Viktor Frankl's Triumph Over Tragedy. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, provides another compelling example of surrender in action. During his imprisonment in Nazi concentration camps, Frankl endured unimaginable suffering, losing nearly everything, including his family, his freedom, and his dignity. Yet, amidst the horror, he discovered a profound truth: human beings always have the freedom to choose their attitude toward any given situation. In his seminal work Man's Search for Meaning, Frankl wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." This realization allowed him to transcend his circumstances and find purpose even in the darkest moments. Frankl's philosophy of tragic optimism, the ability to maintain hope and meaning despite suffering, aligns closely with the principles of surrender. By letting go of the need to control his external environment, he tapped into an inner reservoir of strength and resilience. These stories remind us that surrender is not about giving up, it's about finding strength in vulnerability and trusting that even in the face of hardship, growth is possible. Conclusion of Chapter 2. In this chapter, we've explored the fascinating intersection of science and spirituality in understanding surrender. From the neurological benefits of letting go to the spiritual teachings of trust and alignment, we've seen how surrender operates on multiple levels to transform our lives. We've also examined practical ways to bridge these perspectives through mindfulness, gratitude, and intentional action. Real-life stories like Cheryl Strayed's and Viktor Frankl's demonstrate that surrender is not just a theoretical concept, it's a lived experience with the power to heal, inspire, and elevate. As we move forward, keep in mind the words of Rumi. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. Surrender is about following that pull, trusting that it will lead you to your highest purpose and deepest fulfillment. Chapter 3. Practical Steps to Embrace Surrender. Understanding the philosophy and science of surrender is one thing, applying it in your daily life is another. In this chapter, we'll move from theory to practice, providing you with actionable steps to embrace surrender in a way that transforms your mindset, behaviors, and outcomes. Surrender is not an abstract concept reserved for spiritual retreats or moments of deep reflection. It's a practical tool you can use every day to navigate challenges, build resilience, and create a life filled with peace and purpose. Whether you're struggling with stress, seeking clarity in decision-making, or simply looking to enhance your well-being, these steps will guide you on your journey. Let's begin by identifying the first critical step: recognizing your limits of control. Step 1. Recognize your control limits. 1. The illusion of control. One of the biggest barriers to surrender is the illusion of control. Many of us believe that if we just try harder, plan better, or micromanage every detail, we can guarantee a specific outcome. While effort and planning are important, they have their limits. Life is inherently unpredictable, and no matter how much we prepare, there will always be factors beyond our influence. As the Serenity Prayer reminds us, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This timeless prayer encapsulates the essence of recognizing your control limits. It's about discerning what you can influence, and what you must let go of. 2. Identifying what you can control. To practice surrender effectively, start by identifying areas of your life where you have genuine control. These might include your thoughts and attitudes, your actions and responses, how you allocate your time and energy, the boundaries you set in relationships. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed at work, focus on completing tasks within your capacity rather than trying to fix systemic issues that are beyond your authority. By channeling your energy into what you can control, you reduce unnecessary stress and increase your effectiveness. 3. Letting go of what you cannot control. Equally important is acknowledging what lies outside your sphere of influence. This could include other people's opinions and behaviors, external circumstances like weather, traffic, or economic conditions, past events that cannot be changed. When you cling to things you cannot control, you create resistance and frustration. Instead, practice saying, "This is not mine to carry." Visualize handing over these burdens to the universe, trusting that they will be handled in ways you may not yet understand. A powerful example of this comes from Elizabeth Gilbert, author of Eat, Pray, Love. After a painful divorce, she struggled to find peace until she realized she couldn't control her ex-husband's emotions or decisions. She wrote, "I stopped trying to orchestrate his happiness, and suddenly my own returned." By letting go of what she couldn't control, she reclaimed her sense of freedom and joy. Step 2. Release resistance. 1. Understanding resistance. Resistance is the mental and emotional pushback we experience when life doesn't go according to plan. It manifests as frustration, anger, fear, or denial, all of which drain our energy and cloud our judgment. Resistance keeps us stuck in the past or trapped in worries about the future, preventing us from fully experiencing the present moment. Releasing resistance is a fundamental aspect of surrender. It involves accepting reality as it is, without judgment or attachment. This doesn't mean you agree with everything that happens, rather, it means you stop fighting against it. 2. Practicing radical acceptance. Radical acceptance is the act of embracing reality exactly as it is, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfair. It's about saying, "This is happening, and I choose to face it with grace." Here's a simple exercise to practice radical acceptance. 1. Identify a situation causing you stress or discomfort. 2. Acknowledge your feelings about it without judgment. For example, say to yourself, "I feel frustrated because this isn't going the way I planned." 3. Remind yourself that resisting won't change the situation. Instead, ask, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow?" By shifting your perspective, you transform resistance into opportunity. 3. The power of detachment. Detachment is often misunderstood as indifference, but it's actually a form of liberation. When you detach from outcomes, you free yourself from the anxiety of needing things to turn out a certain way. Consider the story of Michael Jordan, widely regarded as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Despite his incredible talent, he missed over 9,000 shots during his career and lost nearly 300 games. Yet, he famously said, "I've failed over and over again in my life, and that is why I succeed." His success was rooted in his ability to detach from the fear of failure and focus on giving his best effort. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring, it means you care deeply while remaining open to whatever unfolds. Step 3. Trust the process. 1. Building faith in uncertainty. Trusting the process is perhaps the most challenging aspect of surrender, especially in a world that values certainty and predictability. But true growth often occurs in the spaces where we feel uncertain or vulnerable. Think of a seed planted in the ground. You can't see it sprouting, But you trust that given time, water, and sunlight, it will grow into a plant. Similarly, when you surrender, you trust that the seeds you're planting, whether in your career, relationships, or personal development, will eventually bear fruit. 2. Cultivating patience. Patience is a cornerstone of trust. In our fast-paced society, waiting can feel excruciating, but it's often necessary for meaningful results. As the Tao Te Ching teaches, nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. To cultivate patience, remind yourself that progress takes time. Celebrate small victories along the way, knowing that each step brings you closer to your goal. 3. Signs that you're on the right path. When you trust the process, you'll notice subtle signs that affirm you're moving in the right direction. These might include a sense of inner peace, even amidst challenges, unexpected opportunities or synchronicities, feedback from others that validates your efforts. For instance, consider the story of Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. Before launching her billion-dollar company, she faced countless rejections and setbacks. Yet, she trusted her vision and persevered, eventually becoming one of the most successful entrepreneurs in history. Her journey demonstrates that trust in the process pays off, even when the path seems unclear. Step 4. Take inspired action. 1. The difference between forced action and inspired action. Surrender doesn't mean sitting back and waiting for things to magically happen, it requires action. However, there's a crucial distinction between forced action and inspired action. Forced action stems from fear, pressure, or a sense of obligation. It's draining and often counterproductive. Inspired action, on the other hand, flows naturally from a place of clarity, trust, and alignment with your higher purpose. As Deepak Chopra explains, inspired action arises from stillness, while forced action comes from restlessness. When you surrender and quiet your mind, you create space for inspiration to guide you. This is where true creativity and breakthroughs occur. 2. How to recognize inspired action. Inspired action feels effortless and energizing. It aligns with your values and intuition, often bringing a sense of excitement or fulfillment. Here are some signs that you're taking inspired action. You feel a deep sense of joy or purpose while doing it. The steps seem to unfold naturally, almost as if they're being revealed to you. Others support your efforts without you having to force or convince them. For example, imagine you're considering starting a new project. If the idea fills you with enthusiasm and you notice opportunities aligning effortlessly, it's likely inspired action. But if you feel resistance or dread, it might be worth pausing and reassessing whether this is truly the right path for you. 3. Combining surrender with action. The key to successful surrender lies in balancing letting go with taking intentional steps forward. Here's how you can combine the two. 1. Set an intention, clearly define what you want to achieve, but remain open to how it manifests. For example, instead of saying, "I need this specific job," say, "I'm open to opportunities that align with my skills and passions." 2. Listen to your intuition. Pay attention to subtle nudges or ideas that come to you when you're relaxed and present. These are often messages from your higher self guiding you toward inspired action. 3. Act with detachment. Take bold steps, but release attachment to the outcome. Trust that the universe will orchestrate events in ways that serve your highest good. A great example of this balance is the story of Arianna Huffington, founder of the Huffington Post. After facing multiple rejections for her second book, she surrendered her need for immediate success and focused on what truly mattered to her, sharing meaningful stories and insights. Her willingness to trust the process and take inspired action eventually led to the creation of one of the most influential media platforms in the world. Overcoming common challenges and practicing surrender. While the steps outlined above provide a clear roadmap, practicing surrender isn't always easy. Let's address some common challenges you may encounter and how to overcome them. Challenge 1. Fear of failure. One of the biggest obstacles to surrender is the fear of failure. Many people equate letting go with giving up, believing that if they stop trying so hard, they'll lose everything they've worked for. To overcome this fear, reframe failure as feedback. Every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. As Thomas Edison famously said after thousands of failed attempts to invent the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." By viewing challenges through this lens, you reduce the fear associated with surrender and embrace it as part of the process. Challenge 2: Lack of patience. In our instant gratification culture, patience can feel like a lost art. When you surrender, you may expect immediate results, only to feel discouraged when nothing changes right away. To cultivate patience, focus on the journey rather than the destination. Break your goals into smaller milestones and celebrate each step along the way. Remind yourself that transformation takes time, and the process itself is where the magic happens. Challenge 3: External pressure. Society often rewards hustle and hard work, making it difficult to justify slowing down or letting go. Friends, family, or colleagues may question your decision to surrender, fearing that you're becoming complacent. To navigate this challenge, communicate your intentions clearly. Explain that surrender isn't about quitting, it's about working smarter, not harder. Surround yourself with supportive individuals who understand and respect your approach. Real-life examples of surrender in action. To further illustrate these principles, let's explore 2 inspiring stories of individuals who embraced surrender and achieved extraordinary results. Story 1: J.K. Rowling's Leap of Faith. Before becoming a household name, J.K. Rowling faced immense adversity. A single mother living on welfare, she struggled to make ends meet while writing the first Harry Potter book. Despite countless rejections from publishers, she refused to give up on her dream. What sets Rowling apart is her ability to surrender to the process. She didn't obsess over external validation. Instead, she trusted that her story would find its audience when the time was right. Her persistence, combined with her willingness to let go of control, ultimately led to one of the most successful book series in history. Rowling's journey teaches us that surrender isn't passive, it's an active commitment to staying true to your vision, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Story 2: Tony Robbins' Transformation. Tony Robbins, one of the world's leading life coaches, attributes much of his success to the practice of surrender. Early in his career, he faced significant financial struggles and personal challenges. Instead of succumbing to despair, he chose to surrender his fears and doubts, focusing instead on serving others. Robbins emphasizes the importance of taking massive action while remaining detached from outcomes. He advises, "Trade your expectations for appreciation, and the world becomes a magical place." By combining surrender with relentless effort, he built a multi-million-dollar empire and impacted millions of lives worldwide. These stories highlight the transformative power of surrender when paired with inspired action. They remind us that success isn't about controlling every detail, it's about trusting the process and allowing life to unfold organically. Conclusion of Chapter 3. In this chapter, we've explored practical steps to embrace surrender in your daily life. From recognizing your limits of control to releasing resistance, building trust, and taking inspired action, these strategies provide a comprehensive framework for integrating surrender into your routine. We've also addressed common challenges, such as fear of failure, lack of patience, and external pressure, offering solutions to help you stay committed to your journey. Real-life examples from individuals like J.K. Rowling and Tony Robbins demonstrate that surrender is not only achievable but also incredibly rewarding. As you move forward, remember the words of Ralph Waldo Emerson. The only way to have a friend is to be one. Similarly, the only way to experience peace and abundance is to embody those qualities within yourself. Surrender is the gateway to discovering your true potential and creating a life filled with meaning and fulfillment. Chapter 4: Real-Life Stories of Surrender. There's no better way to understand the transformative power of surrender than through real-life stories. These narratives not only inspire but also provide tangible examples of how surrender can lead to profound personal and professional breakthroughs. In this chapter, we'll explore 3 compelling stories of individuals who embraced surrender in different contexts: business leadership, young adulthood, and parenthood. Each story highlights a unique aspect of surrender, demonstrating its versatility and universal applicability. Let's begin with the journey of a business leader who turned failure into success through the art of letting go. Story 1: A Business Leader's Journey, from failure to success through surrender. The backstory? Meet Alex Turner, a seasoned entrepreneur who once found himself on the brink of ruin. After years of relentless hustle, his tech startup failed spectacularly, leaving him in debt and questioning his worth. For months, Alex clung to the remnants of his company, believing that sheer determination alone could revive it. But the harder he tried, the more exhausted and disheartened he became. It wasn't until Alex attended a mindfulness retreat that he began to see things differently. During a meditation session, he had an epiphany. I've been fighting against the current instead of learning to flow with it. This realization marked the beginning of his journey toward surrender. The turning point. Alex decided to let go, not just of his failed business but also of the mindset that had driven him to burnout. He stopped obsessing over regaining control and instead focused on rebuilding his mental and emotional well-being. He started journaling daily, practicing gratitude, and seeking guidance from mentors who had faced similar challenges. One day, while volunteering at a local community center, Alex stumbled upon an idea for a new venture, a platform connecting small businesses with underserved communities. Unlike his previous approach, which was fueled by ego and fear, this new project stemmed from a genuine desire to make a difference. The outcome? By surrendering his need to win and focusing on serving others, Alex created a thriving enterprise that earned both financial success and widespread acclaim. Reflecting on his journey, he shared, "Surrender taught me that true strength lies in vulnerability and trust. When I stopped trying to force outcomes, everything fell into place naturally." Alex's story illustrates how surrender can transform failure into a stepping stone for growth. It reminds us that sometimes, letting go is the first step toward achieving greatness. Story 2: A young professional's transformation, finding purpose through surrender. The backstory? Emily Carter was a bright-eyed college graduate eager to conquer the world. Armed with a degree in marketing and dreams of climbing the corporate ladder, she landed her first job at a prestigious advertising agency. However, within months, Emily realized that the glamorous career she'd envisioned felt hollow. Long hours, cutthroat competition, and constant pressure left her feeling disconnected and unfulfilled. Desperate for answers, Emily embarked on a soul-searching journey. She traveled, read self-help books, and experimented with various hobbies, hoping to find her passion. Despite her efforts, clarity eluded her. Frustrated and confused, Emily reached a breaking point. The turning point. During a weekend retreat focused on mindfulness and creativity, Emily encountered the concept of surrender for the first time. The facilitator encouraged participants to release their attachment to societal expectations and embrace uncertainty as a path to discovery. Inspired, Emily made a bold decision. She quit her high-paying job and took a 6-month sabbatical to explore her interests without judgment or pressure. She spent time volunteering at animal shelters, teaching yoga, and writing poetry, activities she'd always loved but never prioritized. The outcome? Through this period of surrender, Emily discovered her true calling, helping young adults navigate career transitions. She launched a coaching practice combining her marketing expertise with her newfound passion for personal development. Today, Emily is celebrated as a thought leader in her field, inspiring countless individuals to pursue authentic paths. Looking back, Emily reflects, "Surrender freed me from the illusion that success equals external validation. By letting go of what I thought I should want, I uncovered what truly makes my heart sing." Her story underscores the importance of surrender in finding purpose and aligning your life with your deepest values. Story 3: A mother's peaceful life, balancing family and self-care through surrender. The backstory? Sarah Bennett was a devoted mother of 3, juggling parenting, household responsibilities, and a part-time job. On paper, her life seemed perfect, but internally, Sarah felt overwhelmed and depleted. She prided herself on being the perfect mom, yet the constant pressure to meet everyone's needs left little room for her own happiness. Despite her best intentions, Sarah noticed cracks forming in her relationships. Her children resented her micromanagement, and her marriage suffered due to lack of quality time together. Feeling trapped, Sarah confided in a close friend, who introduced her to the idea of surrender as a tool for balance. The turning point. With hesitation, Sarah began practicing surrender in small ways. She stopped trying to control every detail of her children's lives, trusting that they would learn valuable lessons from their mistakes. She delegated household chores to her family members, even if they didn't do them perfectly. Most importantly, she carved out time for herself, reading, exercising, and reconnecting with old friends. At first, Sarah worried that letting go would lead to chaos. But to her surprise, the opposite happened. Her children became more independent and responsible. Her husband grew closer as they rediscovered shared hobbies, and Sarah herself felt rejuvenated and joyful. The outcome. Surrender transformed Sarah's life in ways she never imagined. She learned that peace doesn't come from controlling everything. It comes from trusting the process and allowing others to contribute. Speaking about her experience, Sarah said, "Letting go gave me back my family and my sanity. I realized that love isn't about doing everything. It's about creating space for everyone to thrive." This story highlights how surrender can restore harmony in relationships and foster a sense of collective well-being. Lessons from these stories. Applying surrender to your own life. The stories of Alex, Emily, and Sarah demonstrate that surrender is not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a versatile principle that can be adapted to various situations and challenges. Let's break down the key lessons from these narratives and explore how you can apply them to your own life. Lesson 1. Failure is not the end, it's a new beginning. Alex's journey teaches us that failure is not something to fear or avoid. It's an opportunity for reinvention. When he surrendered his attachment to his failed startup, he opened himself up to new possibilities. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of his worth, he saw it as feedback, a chance to learn and grow. How you can apply this. If you're facing setbacks in your career or personal life, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use it as a stepping stone for growth? Let go of the need to control every outcome, and trust that the universe will guide you toward your next chapter. Lesson 2. Authenticity over external validation. Emily's transformation highlights the importance of prioritizing authenticity over societal expectations. By surrendering her attachment to a high-powered corporate job, she discovered a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. How you can apply this. Take time to reflect on what truly matters to you, not what others expect of you. Ask yourself, what activities make me feel alive and energized? What legacy do I want to leave behind? Be willing to let go of paths that no longer serve your highest good, even if they seem prestigious or secure. Lesson 3. Trust builds stronger relationships. Sarah's story shows that surrendering control doesn't weaken relationships, it strengthens them. By trusting her family to take responsibility and making space for herself, she created a healthier, more balanced dynamic. How you can apply this. In your own relationships, practice letting go of the need to micromanage or fix everything. Delegate tasks, express gratitude, and allow others to contribute in their own way. Remember that love flourishes when there's room for mutual growth and respect. Common themes across the stories. While each story is unique, several common themes emerge that reinforce the power of surrender. 1. Vulnerability is strength. All three individuals demonstrated immense courage by embracing vulnerability. Whether it was Alex admitting his business had failed, Emily leaving a stable job to pursue her passions, or Sarah relinquishing control over her household, they all took risks that required emotional strength. As Brené Brown famously said, vulnerability is not winning or losing, it's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Surrender invites us to step into this courageous space, where growth and transformation occur. 2. Trust in the process. Each protagonist trusted that surrender would lead to positive outcomes, even when the path forward wasn't clear. They understood that life unfolds in its own timing and that forcing results often leads to frustration. Actionable insight. When faced with uncertainty, remind yourself, I don't need to have everything figured out right now. I trust that the pieces will come together in due time. Practice patience and faith, knowing that surrender sets the stage for miracles to happen. 3. alignment with core values. Ultimately, Alex, Emily, and Sarah succeeded because they aligned their actions with their core values. Alex focused on service, Emily pursued authenticity, and Sarah prioritized balance. Actionable insight. Identify your top 3 values, e.g., creativity, connection, freedom, and evaluate whether your current choices reflect them. If not, consider what changes you need to make to live in greater alignment. Inspiration for your journey. These stories are meant to inspire you, not to compare yourself to others but to recognize the potential within yourself. Surrender is a deeply personal process, and your journey will look different from anyone else's. Here are some final thoughts to guide you. 1. Start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire life overnight. Begin with small acts of surrender, such as letting go of minor frustrations or practicing mindfulness during stressful moments. Over time, these small shifts will create lasting change. 2. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge every step you take toward embracing surrender, no matter how insignificant it may seem. Each act of letting go brings you closer to peace and clarity. 3. Seek support. Surrender doesn't mean going it alone. Surround yourself with supportive friends, mentors, or communities who understand and encourage your journey. Their insights and encouragement can help you stay committed. Conclusion of Chapter 4. In this chapter, we've explored real-life stories of surrender, showcasing how ordinary people achieved extraordinary transformations by embracing this powerful principle. From Alex's entrepreneurial comeback to Emily's quest for purpose and Sarah's journey toward balance, these narratives illustrate the diverse applications of surrender in various aspects of life. We've also distilled key lessons from these stories, providing actionable insights to help you integrate surrender into your own journey. Remember, surrender is not about giving up, it's about gaining perspective, building trust, and creating space for growth. As Maya Angelou wisely said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." Surrender empowers you to rise above challenges, embrace uncertainty, and unlock your true potential. In the next chapter, we'll explore how to overcome common challenges in practicing surrender and provide strategies to sustain this mindset long-term. Are you ready to continue? Chapter 5: Overcoming Common Challenges and Surrender. Surrender is a transformative practice, but like any meaningful journey, it comes with its own set of challenges. Fear, doubt, and resistance can sometimes cloud our ability to fully embrace surrender, making it difficult to experience its profound benefits. In this chapter, we'll address 3 common obstacles people face when practicing surrender: fear of failure, lack of patience, and external pressure. For each challenge, we'll explore practical strategies to overcome it and stay aligned with the principles of surrender. By the end of this chapter, you'll have the tools to navigate these hurdles with confidence and grace. Let's begin by examining the first challenge, the fear of failure. Challenge 1: Fear of failure. Why fear of failure holds us back. Fear of failure is one of the most pervasive barriers to surrender. Many people associate letting go with giving up, believing that if they stop trying so hard, they'll lose everything they've worked for. This fear is often rooted in societal conditioning. We live in a culture that celebrates relentless effort and views failure as a sign of weakness. But here's the truth: failure is not the opposite of success, it's an integral part of it. Every successful person has faced setbacks, yet what sets them apart is their willingness to keep moving forward despite these challenges. Surrender doesn't mean avoiding failure, it means embracing it as a teacher and trusting that every step, whether forward or backward, contributes to your growth. How to overcome fear of failure. To overcome this fear, try the following strategies. 1. Reframe failure as feedback. Instead of viewing failure as a reflection of your worth, see it as valuable feedback. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? How can I use it to improve? This mindset shift removes the stigma around failure and transforms it into a tool for growth. For example, consider the story of Thomas Edison, who famously said after thousands of failed attempts to invent the light bulb, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." His persistence and willingness to embrace failure ultimately led to one of the greatest inventions in history. 2. Focus on effort, not outcomes. When you surrender, you let go of attachment to specific outcomes and focus instead on giving your best effort. Trust that the universe will handle the results, and take pride in knowing that you're doing everything within your power to succeed. 3. Juxtaposed against perfectionism. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Remind yourself that everyone makes mistakes, and failure is simply part of the human experience. Treat yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend facing a similar situation. Real-life example, Sarah Blakely. Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx, is a shining example of overcoming fear of failure through surrender. Before launching her billion-dollar company, she faced countless rejections and setbacks. Yet, she trusted her vision and persevered, eventually becoming one of the most successful entrepreneurs in history. Her journey demonstrates that trust in the process pays off, even when the path seems unclear. Challenge 2. Lack of patience. Why patience is essential in surrender. Patience is a cornerstone of surrender, yet it's also one of the hardest qualities to cultivate. In our fast-paced world, we're conditioned to expect instant results. When changes don't happen immediately, it's easy to become discouraged and abandon the practice altogether. However, true transformation takes time. Just as a seed needs water, sunlight, and nurturing before it sprouts, your efforts require consistent care and attention before they bear fruit. Surrender teaches us to trust the timing of our lives and remain steadfast in the face of uncertainty. How to cultivate patience. To develop patience, try these techniques. 1. Break goals into smaller milestones. Large goals can feel overwhelming, especially when progress seems slow. Break them down into smaller, achievable steps, and celebrate each milestone along the way. This helps maintain momentum and keeps you motivated. 2. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness anchors you in the present moment, reducing anxiety about the future and frustration over perceived delays. Spend a few minutes each day meditating or journaling to cultivate awareness and calmness. 3. Trust the process. Remind yourself that growth happens in layers, not leaps. Even if you can't see immediate results, trust that your efforts are creating a foundation for future success. As Lao Tzu wisely said, "Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished." Real-life example, J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling's journey to publishing the Harry Potter series is a testament to the power of patience. After completing her manuscript, she faced rejection from multiple publishers before finally finding one who believed in her work. Her perseverance and trust in the process ultimately led to one of the most beloved literary franchises in history. Challenge 3. External pressure. Why external pressure hinders surrender. External pressure is a significant obstacle to surrender, especially in a society that values productivity and achievement above all else. Friends, family, colleagues, or even societal norms may question your decision to let go of control, fearing that you're becoming complacent or losing focus. This external noise can create doubt and make it difficult to stay committed to your journey of surrender. For example, imagine you're considering taking a sabbatical to recharge and realign with your values. While this decision might feel right for you, others may view it as irresponsible or self-indulgent. Their opinions can trigger resistance, causing you to second-guess yourself and hesitate to embrace surrender. How to overcome external pressure. To navigate this challenge, try the following strategies. 1. Clarify your intentions. Before making decisions based on external expectations, take time to reflect on your motivations. Ask yourself, why am I choosing to surrender in this situation? How does it align with my values and long-term goals? Having a clear understanding of your intentions will help you stay grounded when faced with criticism or doubt from others. 2. Communicate openly. When others express concerns about your choices, address them with honesty and empathy. Explain that surrender isn't about giving up, it's about working smarter and trusting the process. Share examples of how letting go has benefited you or others, emphasizing the positive outcomes you're striving for. For instance, if a colleague questions why you're delegating tasks instead of handling everything yourself, you might say, "I'm learning to trust my team more so we can all grow together. By letting go of some responsibilities, I'm creating space for innovation and collaboration." 3. Surround yourself with supportive people. While not everyone will understand your journey, there are likely individuals in your life who will support your decision to surrender. Seek out mentors, friends, or communities that align with your values and encourage personal growth. Their encouragement will reinforce your commitment and remind you that you're not alone. 4. Focus on your inner compass. Ultimately, your journey of surrender is deeply personal. While feedback from others can be helpful, it's essential to prioritize your inner guidance over external validation. As Steve Jobs famously said, "Your time is limited, don't waste it living someone else's life." Trust yourself to know what's best for you, even if it means going against the grain. Real-life example, Elizabeth Gilbert. After her painful divorce, Elizabeth Gilbert faced skepticism from friends and family when she decided to embark on a year-long journey of self-discovery, chronicled in her memoir Eat, Pray, Love. Many questioned whether traveling alone and investing in personal healing was worth the risk. Yet, by staying true to her inner compass and surrendering to the unknown, Gilbert not only found peace but also inspired millions through her story. Her experience reminds us that external pressure should never dictate our choices. When we trust ourselves and embrace surrender, we open the door to transformative experiences that defy conventional expectations. Additional strategies for sustaining surrender long-term. Overcoming challenges is just the beginning. Sustaining surrender requires ongoing effort and mindfulness. Here are some additional strategies to help you maintain this mindset over the long term. 1. Create rituals of letting go. Incorporate daily practices that reinforce surrender, such as meditation, journaling, or gratitude exercises. These rituals serve as reminders to release resistance and cultivate trust in the universe. For example, start each day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple act shifts your focus from scarcity to abundance, reinforcing the principles of surrender. 2. Celebrate small wins. Acknowledge every step you take toward embracing surrender, no matter how small. Celebrating progress keeps you motivated and reinforces the belief that letting go leads to positive outcomes. 3. Stay open to learning. Surrender is an evolving practice, and there's always room for growth. Stay curious and open to new insights, whether through books, workshops, or conversations with like-minded individuals. The more you learn, the deeper your understanding of surrender will become. Conclusion of Chapter 5. In this chapter, we've explored 3 common challenges people face when practicing surrender: fear of failure, lack of patience, and external pressure. For each obstacle, we've provided practical strategies to overcome it, along with inspiring examples of individuals who triumphed despite adversity. Remember, surrender is not a destination, it's a continuous journey. By reframing failure as feedback, cultivating patience, and staying true to your inner compass, you'll build resilience and deepen your connection to this powerful principle. As Rumi beautifully expressed, "Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love." Surrender invites you to follow that pull, trusting that it will lead you to your highest purpose and deepest fulfillment. Chapter 6. Living a Life of Surrender, Long-Term Benefits. Surrender is not just a short-term solution to life's challenges. It's a lifelong practice that can transform every aspect of your existence. When embraced consistently, surrender becomes a way of being, guiding you toward greater peace, joy, and fulfillment. In this chapter, we'll explore the profound long-term benefits of living a life rooted in surrender. From cultivating inner peace to strengthening relationships and achieving sustainable success, these rewards demonstrate why surrender is one of the most powerful tools for personal growth. Let's begin by examining the first major benefit: inner peace. Benefit 1. Inner peace, the foundation of a fulfilling life. Why inner peace matters. Inner peace is the cornerstone of a fulfilling life. Without it, external achievements, whether wealth, recognition, or material possessions, often feel hollow. When you're constantly chasing outcomes or trying to control everything, your mind remains restless and unfulfilled. Surrender offers a path to quieting this mental noise and finding serenity within yourself. As Eckhart Tolle explains in The Power of Now, the primary cause of unhappiness is never the situation but your thoughts about it. By letting go of resistance and accepting life as it unfolds, you create space for inner peace to flourish. How surrender leads to inner peace. When you surrender, you stop fighting against reality and start flowing with it. This shift reduces stress, anxiety, and emotional turmoil, allowing you to experience a deeper sense of calm. Here's how surrender fosters inner peace. 1. Releasing resistance. Resistance is the root of suffering. When you resist what is, you create tension and frustration. Surrender teaches you to accept reality without judgment, freeing you from unnecessary struggles. For example, imagine being stuck in traffic. Instead of getting angry or stressed, you might choose to surrender to the moment, using it as an opportunity to breathe deeply or listen to calming music. This simple act transforms a potentially negative experience into one of relaxation. 2. Trusting the universe. Surrender involves placing faith in the universe, or whatever higher power you believe in, to guide your journey. This trust alleviates the burden of feeling like everything depends on you, creating a sense of ease and security. 3. Embracing impermanence. Life is inherently impermanent, situations change, emotions fluctuate, and people come and go. Surrender helps you embrace this impermanence, reducing attachment to specific outcomes and fostering resilience in the face of change. Real-life example, Thich Nhat Hanh. Thich Nhat Hanh, the renowned Zen master, exemplified the power of surrender in cultivating inner peace. Despite enduring war, exile, and persecution, he remained steadfast in his commitment to mindfulness and compassion. His ability to let go of anger and resentment allowed him to radiate peace, inspiring millions worldwide. Thich Nhat Hanh's teachings remind us that inner peace is always accessible, even amidst chaos. By surrendering to the present moment, we unlock a wellspring of tranquility within ourselves. Benefit 2. Enhance relationships, building deeper connections through surrender. Why relationships thrive on surrender. Healthy relationships are built on trust, communication, and mutual respect, all of which are strengthened through surrender. When you let go of the need to control others or force outcomes, you create space for genuine connection and understanding. Conversely, clinging to expectations or trying to micromanage relationships often leads to conflict and resentment. Surrender invites you to approach relationships with openness and vulnerability, fostering deeper bonds and greater harmony. How surrender improves relationships. Here's how surrender enhances various types of relationships. 1. Romantic relationships. In romantic partnerships, surrender means releasing the need to fix your partner or mold them into someone they're not. It involves trusting their journey while nurturing mutual growth. For example, instead of criticizing your partner for leaving dishes in the sink, you might express gratitude for their other contributions to the household. This shift in perspective reduces tension and strengthens your bond. 2. Parent-child relationships. Surrender is equally valuable in parenting. By letting go of perfectionism and trusting your children to navigate their own paths, you empower them to develop independence and confidence. Consider Sarah Bennett's story from Chapter 4. By surrendering her need to control every detail of her household, she fostered a healthier dynamic with her family. Her children became more responsible, and her marriage grew stronger. 3. Friendships and professional relationships. In friendships and professional settings, surrender encourages collaboration over competition. By trusting others' abilities and delegating tasks, you build rapport and inspire teamwork. For instance, a manager who surrenders micromanagement tendencies allows their team members to shine, leading to increased productivity and job satisfaction. Real-life example, Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela's leadership during South Africa's transition from apartheid to democracy illustrates the transformative power of surrender in relationships. Despite decades of imprisonment and oppression, he chose forgiveness over vengeance, extending trust and cooperation to former adversaries. His willingness to let go of hatred paved the way for reconciliation and unity, earning him global admiration. Mandela's legacy reminds us that surrender has the power to heal divisions and forge connections that transcend differences. Benefit 3. Greater success. Achieving sustainable growth through surrender. Why surrender leads to success. Success, when pursued through surrender, becomes sustainable and meaningful. Unlike traditional definitions of success, often tied to external achievements like wealth or status, surrender aligns you with a deeper sense of purpose and fulfillment. It allows you to work in harmony with the universe, leveraging opportunities that naturally arise rather than forcing outcomes. As Deepak Chopra explains, success without fulfillment is the ultimate failure. By embracing surrender, you create space for success that resonates with your core values and brings lasting satisfaction. How surrender enhances success. Here's how surrender contributes to sustainable success. 1. Aligning with flow. When you surrender, you stop swimming against the current of life and start flowing with it. This alignment opens doors to opportunities that might have been inaccessible through sheer effort alone. For example, consider an entrepreneur who surrenders their attachment to a specific business model. By staying open to feedback and pivoting when necessary, they discover innovative solutions that propel their company forward. 2. Reducing burnout. Traditional approaches to success often involve relentless hustle, which can lead to burnout and diminished performance. Surrender teaches you to balance effort with ease, preserving your energy and creativity over the long term. 3. Cultivating resilience. Surrender doesn't mean avoiding challenges, it means facing them with grace and adaptability. This mindset builds resilience, enabling you to navigate setbacks and emerge stronger than before. 4. Attracting support. When you surrender, you radiate authenticity and trust, attracting people who resonate with your vision. These connections often lead to collaborations, mentorships, and resources that accelerate your success. Real-life example, Oprah Winfrey. Oprah Winfrey's journey to becoming a media mogul is a testament to the power of surrender in achieving success. Early in her career, she faced numerous rejections and setbacks but remained committed to her mission of inspiring others. By surrendering her need for immediate validation and trusting her intuition, she built a global empire rooted in authenticity and service. Her story demonstrates that true success comes not from controlling every detail but from aligning with your higher purpose and allowing life to unfold organically. Tying it all together, the holistic impact of surrender. The long-term benefits of surrender are interconnected, each reinforcing the others. Inner peace lays the foundation for enhanced relationships, which in turn fosters greater success. Together, these elements create a virtuous cycle that elevates every aspect of your life. A life of balance and fulfillment. Living a life of surrender is about finding balance between action and acceptance, effort and ease, ambition and contentment. It's about recognizing that you don't have to sacrifice peace for productivity or relationships for success. Instead, you can integrate all these elements into a cohesive, fulfilling existence. Inspiration for your journey. As you embrace surrender, remember that it's not a one-time event, it's a lifelong practice. There will be moments of doubt and resistance, but each step you take toward letting go brings you closer to the life you desire. Here are some final thoughts to guide you. 1. Trust the process. Even when the path seems unclear, trust that the universe is conspiring in your favor. Every challenge is an opportunity for growth, and every moment holds the potential for transformation. 2. Celebrate progress. Acknowledge how far you've come on your journey of surrender. Whether it's releasing a fear, improving a relationship, or achieving a goal, celebrate these milestones as evidence of your growth. 3. Stay open to possibilities. Surrender invites you to remain curious and open-minded. By releasing rigid expectations, you allow unexpected blessings to enter your life. Conclusion of Chapter 6. In this chapter, we've explored the profound long-term benefits of living a life rooted in surrender. From cultivating inner peace to enhancing relationships and achieving sustainable success, these rewards demonstrate why surrender is not just a practice but a way of being. By embracing surrender, you unlock a deeper connection to yourself, others, and the world around you. You learn to navigate life's challenges with grace and resilience, creating a foundation for lasting happiness and fulfillment. As Rumi beautifully expressed, "Let the beauty of what you love be what you do." Surrender invites you to follow your heart, trusting that the universe will guide you toward your highest good. Audiobook Conclusion. Your journey of surrender begins now. Throughout this audiobook, we've explored the transformative power of surrender, a concept that goes far beyond simply letting go. We began by understanding what surrender truly means. It's not weakness or resignation but an act of profound trust and alignment with the universe. We delved into the science behind surrender, uncovering how practices like mindfulness and gratitude rewire your brain for peace and resilience. We also examined its spiritual dimensions, learning to embrace the flow of life and trust in divine timing. From there, we moved into practical steps for embracing surrender in daily life, recognizing your limits of control, releasing resistance, trusting the process, and taking inspired action. Real-life stories of individuals who transformed their lives through surrender reminded us that this practice is accessible to everyone, regardless of their circumstances. Finally, we explored the long-term benefits of living a life rooted in surrender, inner peace, deeper relationships, and sustainable success. These rewards demonstrate that surrender is not just a tool for overcoming challenges. It's a way of being that enriches every aspect of your existence. Now that you've gained these insights, I encourage you to take action. Surrender is not something you master overnight, it's a lifelong journey. Start small, whether it's letting go of a minor frustration, practicing gratitude daily, or trusting the process in one area of your life. Over time, these small acts will compound into profound transformation. Remember, growth happens outside your comfort zone. There may be moments when doubt creeps in or resistance feels overwhelming, but don't give up. Each step you take towards surrender brings you closer to the peace, joy, and fulfillment you seek. Believe in yourself and trust that the universe is always working in your favor. As you move forward, carry these words from Rumi with you. Let yourself be silently drawn by the strange pull of what you really love. Surrender is about following that pull, trusting that it will lead you to your highest purpose and deepest fulfillment. Thank you for joining me on this journey through the magic of surrender, why everything comes to you when you give up. Your presence here today means the world to me, and I'm honored to share these teachings with you. If you found value in this audiobook, I'd love for you to support our mission of spreading wisdom and inspiration. Please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the Wisdom Audiobooks channel. Your support helps us reach more people and create content that uplifts and empowers. And remember, your wisdom journey doesn't end here, it's just beginning. Keep exploring, keep growing, and most importantly, keep surrendering to the magic of life.